हरि। जया किशोर किशोरी, जया किशोर किशोरी, किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी, किशोर किशोरी जया, जया किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी। जया किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी, किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी, जया किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी। जया गौरा मिठाई, गौरा मिठाई जया गौरा मिठाई जया गौरा मिठाई, जया गौरा मिठाई, गौरा मिठाई, गौरा मिठाई जया गौरा मिठाई। जय जगन्नाथ, जय जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेवा, जय सुभद्रा, जय जगन्नाथ, जय जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेवा, जय सुभद्रा, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय प्रभुपाद। मिठाई गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, गौरा हरि बोल। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी इति नामिने। प्रभुपाद। प्रभुपाद। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यभावे पश्यति आदेशा तारिणे। Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Gauranga Gauranga Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gora 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gora Gora Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna oh Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Chan chan chan. Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Kishor Kishori Kishor Kishori Kishor Kishori Jaya Kishor Kishori Jaya Kishor Kishori Kishor Kishori Jaya Kishor Kishori Jaya Kishor Kishori Jaya Kishor Kishori Jaya Kishor Kishori Kishor Kishori Jaya Kishor Kishori Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Balladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Balladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Balladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo Jayam Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shata Shishimat His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shata Shishimat His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Prense Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shishi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Sri Vrindavan Mathura Dhama ki Sri Majapur Navadvai Dhama ki Purushottam Kshetra Sri Jagannath Puri Dhama ki Ganga Maji Jamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi Shrimati Tulsi Maharani ki Their most beautiful Lordship Shishi Kishore Kishori ki Paramakaruna, their most merciful Lordship Shishi Gauranitai ki Their most merciful Lordship Shri Jagannath Sri Baladev Shrimati Subhadra Maharani ki Sri Harinam Sankirtan Jagya ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Mukunda.
I'll bring a... Grab the harmonium.
Can we not use this for...
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Thank you all very much for coming to this very special Sunday feast. For those of you that were here earlier, you already know the news. For those of you that have joined us since 4:45, prior to that, starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon, there was an initiation ceremony by His Holiness Radhanath Swami. So it was a very exciting moment for the ISKCON Chicago and larger ISKCON devotee community as well. So just a few quick announcements before moving on with our Sunday Feast program. Next Saturday, July 22nd, there is a seminar on child protection given by Her Grace Leela Shuka Devidasi. For more details, either consult the email if you are receiving it. There are posters in the temple lobby, as well as information from Krishna Archana Mataji. She's teaching Sunday school right now, so she's not immediately available. Also, an update, the movie Hare Krishna, the mantra, the movement, and the man who started it all will be playing at the Gene Siskel Film Center in downtown Chicago in the city's theater district. Tickets go on sale on July 21st. However, there are special group discount opportunities. So anybody that thinks they might even want to see this film, and I highly encourage all of us to see it, because I haven't seen it yet, I've seen previews, and it's purported to be an amazing overview of Srila Prabhupada and the movement that he has created. So it's a milestone in the documentation and capturing of history, and the ability to see it on the big screen is an amazing opportunity. So if you want to possibly take advantage of that bulk discount ticket organized by the temple, please go to the gift shop. There's a young lady named Sweta who will just ask you a few questions to find out about your preference and means of contact, and then we will get the bulk tickets accordingly. Additionally, if you're inspired to promote the movie either in form of flyers or small posters to distribute at local stores, that is available in the gift shop as well. And lastly, today's Sunday Feast is sponsored by Gordon Law, as well as all of the newly initiated disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. Haribol! So thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to our temple president, Himangi Devidasi, who will introduce our very special speakers for this evening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for our Sunday Feast special program today. Today's speaker is going to be His Holiness Radhanath Swami, but also a very, very special speaker, Malati Prabhu. She is one of the senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. She personally served him and traveled with him, and there are some very amazing stories. She has personal experiences with Srila Prabhupada. And what's so special about her is that the deities that we see, Shri Shri Kishore Kishori, she's the one who actually chose them. Yes. And she brought them to Chicago. So she has a very special relationship with these deities, and the deities have a very special relationship with her. And we are very honored that she's there today with us. She's also GBC of Detroit, Columbus, you know, all the devotees who got initiated there, they're from her zone. She's been doing this very wonderful service and a very inspiring example for all of us. And along with her today, we have Kamagri Prabhu from Columbus, and we have Rajalila Prabhu and Ekalavya Prabhu from Gita Nagari. So let's together with a loud Hari Bol welcome them to Shri Shri Kishore Kishori Mandir. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Malti Prabhu, we are all set.
Locan.
Hare Krishna. Before I give class, I would like the men on one side and I would like the ladies right up here in front of me. I don't want to be speaking to them in the back of the room. Thank you. So I'm going to repeat what she just said in case you couldn't hear, that those with small children that will not or cannot remain quiet, it's understandable, but please take them outside and there are speakers so that you can hear. But if the children are crying, nobody can listen, and the children, they don't care to listen either. Prabhupada explained that young babies and children, they don't understand philosophy. They don't even understand normal language. So they're disturbed, then they disturb others, and nobody benefits. So it's not that we're discriminating against children, but we're trying to assist in being able to make sure everybody is able to understand what is being discussed. And later on, when they grow up, they will join us. And I'm sorry, I'm not the person you were expecting for the class. Jaya Rama Madhava Ravi Hari Jaya Rama Bihari Jaya Rama Bihari Gopijana Bhava Girivardhari Gopijana Bhava Girivardhari Yasaranandana Rajajanarandana Yasaranandana Rajajanarandana Yasaranandana Rajajanarandana Yasaranandana Brajanarandana Yasaranandana Brajanarandana Yasaranandana Brajanarandana Yamunatirabanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Divine Grace, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His Divine Grace, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, our Lord and Master Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. All glories, all glories, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Agyantamirandasya Ganana Sakalaya Chakchum Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaibhyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So because today is an initiation where you have formally accepted vows entering the disciplic succession of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, in our case, led and taught by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And your spiritual master, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and all of you, whoever your spiritual master may be, also, as a member and follower and servant of Srila Prabhupada, is successful and able to lead you and teach you due to his loyalty to Srila Prabhupada. So I wanted to speak a little bit about this loyalty related to Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes, I just said, or some criticism of ISKCON is there, that we focus too much on Srila Prabhupada. They claim that we are narrow-minded or fanatical. While we know and we honor, as ISKCON members, we know and honor all saintly Vaishnavas, all spiritual masters and teachers and seekers of the truth. But as members of ISKCON, we are bound heart and soul to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, as expounded and taught to us by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So I wanted to express something to you on this effect, specifically to those who are just initiated, but to all members. It is something to keep in mind, that after the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from this worldly view, there were many saintly acharyas, gurus, teachers who followed. But because they were not remaining faithful to his teachings, the sampradaya fell into disarray, the line of disciplic succession. It fell into disarray. And in that disarray, there became what is known as apra, false sampradayas. And they had concocted philosophical deviations in rituals. In other words, they made up their own way of doing things, as opposed to following those who were ahead of them in the disciplic succession. So eventually the Vaishnavas became completely ignored and rejected by a respectable public. They were looked down upon. And the message of Mahaprabhu, as he presented it, was lost. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the grandfather Acharya, you could say, or the great-grandfather Acharya of Srila Prabhupada, appeared in the 1800s. And by divine guidance, as a seeker of the truth, he came into contact with the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it completely transformed his life. I could speak a lot on just this point itself, because he was a seeker. He was, his lineage on his father's side, they weren't Vaishnavas. On his mother's side, at least devotees of Vishnu. But he was a seeker of the truth, even at a young age. And in college, he was studying all religions and philosophies. But when he came into contact with the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was like a fire ignited within his heart. And he read it and reread it and he reread it. And it was during this time that he became exposed to and convinced by the absolute truth, Lord Sri Krishna's supremacy as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A total transformation. And he became completely dedicated to restoring the legacy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to its rightful purity and respect. And in this, he was assisted by his son, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In fact, Srila Bhaktivinoda, he prayed to the Lord for a ray of Vishnu to assist him in this mission. So they, together, they fearlessly preached the message of Mahaprabhu, the Sankirtan message. They preached far and wide in India. But in 1896, a small book written in English by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which was entitled The Life and Precepts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, made its way outside the borders of India. Landed in, one copy was in England and another copy was in Montreal in Canada. And this was the first time that the message of Mahaprabhu had gotten outside of the borders of India. Maybe in a small way because the books are in a library, but nonetheless outside the borders. But it was he that was thinking how to get this message out, not just in India, how to get it out. That was his mood. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta carried on to that mood. And Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada, entered into that mood. He became the initiated disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. So, Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he's not just another name, another picture in the line of disciplic succession, because he accomplished something no other respected acharya had done before, and in doing so, it can never be done again. It's like when you break the absolute record. It can be expanded upon, perhaps, but you won't break it again. And what did he do? He took the message of Mahaprabhu, the Harinam Sankirtan message, outside of India and spread it, not only in the West, but around the world. And he did it in only 11 short years. No one else can make a claim to that degree. Some people, they have followed and, they have their missions, rightfully so. But only Srila Prabhupada took the message of Mahaprabhu and did what Mahaprabhu requested, which was, my name will be chanted all over the world. So it's explained in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita that no one can successfully preach the Sankirtan movement without being specifically empowered by the Supreme Lord. And such a person is known as Shaktavesh Avatar, which means that specifically that person is empowered by the Supreme Lord to fulfill a particular mission. It wasn't by accident. An acharya is one who teaches by an example. And Srila Prabhupada never claimed any fame or prestige for his accomplishments, which, if we were going to discuss Srila Prabhupada's accomplishments, we couldn't even begin to touch upon them in the short time we have now. When people would mention his success, he would very modestly say, if I have done anything, it is that I have always followed the instruction of my spiritual master. I have not deviated. It is by his mercy only that there is any success. And he was consistent in this message. If there is any success, it is by his mercy. He was 100% loyal to his spiritual master. And this loyalty is expressed in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 7th canto, chapter 9, verse 28, by Sri Prahlad. He says in this verse, he's speaking, "My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after the other, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant, Sri Narada Muni, accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve transcendence." And here's the important part. "Therefore, My first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? So many of you are taking those first vows today. You've taken your Brahminical vows. You may not always be in the direct association of your spiritual master. Many of my God brothers and God sisters, they were initiated without ever once seeing Srila Prabhupada. And to this day, they are strong followers because they accepted his mercy and they accepted his instructions and they followed him. When the times got rough, when there were difficulties, they didn't run out the door looking for someone else or something else. They stuck it out. They tried to make a difference. So this simple statement, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? Very, very significant. So I'll focus on a little bit in the relationship between Prahlad and Narada Muni, his guru. Nothing could deviate Prahlad from the service and surrender to Narada Muni. For those who know and those who don't know, Sri Prahlad was a young boy, not even 10 years old. He was tortured by his father. I mean, tortured to the point the father was trying to kill him because he was so envious of his son being a devotee. He never spoke ill of his father. He never tried to harm his father. He never thought ill of his father. He simply thought of his duty to his spiritual master and remembered Lord Sri Krishna. And in all instances of torture, in all difficulties, he was constantly meditating on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and his Guru's instructions to him. Nothing could deviate Prahlad from service and surrender. So this service to Guru, this serving the Guru, this loyalty to the Guru, giving loyalty without deviation. The same loyalty was exemplified by our Srila Prabhupada in all instances, without compromise. So I want to give an example that I experienced with Srila Prabhupada in 1967 in San Francisco. I think probably most of the people in this room weren't even alive in 1967, or maybe you might be in your mother's womb. But this message is timeless. There was a situation where Srila Prabhupada became extremely ill, and all of our efforts to try to assist him in recovery were failing. And at last he decided the only hope for recovery was if he went home to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And so he informed us. Now, that was actually in keeping with Ayurvedic procedure, that it is said that one can more quickly recover in one's home. You know the people, they know you. You know the sights, the sounds, the atmosphere, the climate. Everything is known to you. So you're not having to brace yourself against the unknown. So it's favorable for recovery. So that he was going, and the idea was if Krishna allowed him to recover, then he would come back. But we were stunned to hear him tell us that he was going to leave. After all, we were just, you might say, a few days old in our spiritual life. It was just a few months. And towards the end of July of 67. And then he said, I'm an old man. I may die at any time. So I want you boys and girls to push on this movement. That was a very stunning order. very stunning statement, because Srila Prabhupada was definitely older than all of us, 2 or 3 times older. But we never saw or thought of him as an old man. That was one thing. And I may die at any moment. Well, we knew the mantra, birth, death, disease, and old age. We heard it practically every day, but it had not hit home yet. It was some words that had not penetrated our life yet. And certainly the consideration that Swamiji may die at any moment, it was just an unattainable thought. I want you boys and girls. Nobody in that room was over 30. I want you boys and girls to push on this movement. We were not, for the most part, even thinking that we were part of a movement. We didn't have that expanded awareness yet. It was just New York and San Francisco, you know, just these 2 little storefronts with a few people, little competition between this one and that one. And suddenly we're faced with the reality of the mission we had joined. And we're thinking, how can we do this? How can we push on this movement? We don't know anything. Now, granted, Srila Prabhupada from day 1 told us, go out and preach. I raised my hand. How can we do that? This was on my initiation day. How can we do that, you know? And he said, you simply listen to what I tell you. You listen and then you speak. You don't add or subtract. So we took him for face value, and we did that. But if somebody asked a question that we didn't know the answer to, which was quite often, Swamiji was there. We could go to him. We could ask him. And he'd tell us. Sometimes we'd bring we'd say, we don't know the answer, but our teacher knows the answer. Come, you know. So we felt this, we were backed up. You know, suddenly we were empowered by his presence, and suddenly he wasn't going to be here and he might not come back. So one of the devotees, Mukunda Maharaj, Adhikari at the time, he was thinking, this is very important. He's asked us to do something and we're not really competent. So he asked, Swamiji, is it all right in your absence if we ask one of your godbrothers to come and help us? It didn't seem such an outrageous question because Srila Prabhupada had written several letters to several godbrothers asking them to come and assist in the preaching. The thing was, not one of them came. Many of them didn't even bother to reply, and those who replied said, oh, I'm very sorry, I'm very busy. Oh, I don't want to leave Vrindavan. You know, so as soon as there was some success, the rumors came from India. Oh, Swami Maharaj has gone to the West and he's now with the Malechas and the, you know, like, there was some tinge of envy. We were not so understanding of this point, but Srila Prabhupada as our protector was. So when the question was asked, he didn't speak immediately. He was sitting very still with his back very erect. And it was a great silence that enveloped the room. And we were just looking at him, like scrutinizing his face. I remember I could just see his nostrils move as he breathed, but no sound came immediately. No motion from his body, and similarly, all of us was literally stopped breathing. Like Lord Chaitanya says, a moment seems like 12 years or more. It was that kind of situation. And when he did speak, it was in a very low voice. And he said, my spiritual master was not an ordinary man. He saved me. And he went on to say, if even one person comes and changes even one word of what I have taught you, the whole thing will be spoiled. He was, at that moment, instructing us. Everything I have to teach you is in these books. What were those books? It was the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam in 3 parts. Those are the only books we had. And not everybody had one because there was a limited amount. He was leaving the future of the Hare Krishna movement of ISKCON in the hands of children. We were children who could barely understand what was happening, let alone what was to happen in the future. But we took that order upon our heads, into our hearts, and it is our good fortune to be counted as his disciples, his grand disciples, and followers into the future. And it is our duty to remain loyal to his teachings and his legacy, so that we may very proudly cherish the future of ISKCON. Some of you in this room will be around in 50 years for the 100th centennial celebration of ISKCON. Please mark these instructive words and remain a loyal follower of Srila Prabhupada, as is wanted and needed. And Srila Prabhupada has empowered everyone who takes up the message, who takes up this mission and fearlessly distributes it with sincere faith and determination. And by doing this, the ability to further the mission by carrying out his order will empower you. Lord, I don't know how long I'm supposed to go on. So I will speak on another topic shortly. Every morning, whether you come to the temple or you don't come to the temple, in other words, Mangal Arti, even if you don't come to the temple for Mangal Arti, in your own homes there should be Mangal Arti. You don't need deities, just a picture of Guru and Gauranga, or Panchatattva. This is the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. If you live near a temple, there's no need for home deities. You come here, these are your deities. But if you can't get there in the morning, then you offer Guru Puja and you sing the Shamsara prayers. And similarly, there is Guru Puja. And this Guru Puja is a daily offering to his divine grace. And it was established in ISKCON between 1973 and 74 as a regular part of our morning program in every ISKCON center, far and wide. And it allowed us, his immediate disciples at the time, to meditate and reflect upon the glories of our spiritual master. And in the same way, for all of you, by offering Guru Puja to Srila Prabhupada as a regular part of your daily function, you have a moment to reflect upon your relationship with your own spiritual master and your service and your relationship to Srila Prabhupada. So this is a daily ceremony. And through this ceremony, Srila Prabhupada lives in our hearts. Followers of the past, the present, and the future can connect with him through this Guru Puja. And anyone, whether or not you're initiated or not initiated, within ISKCON, without ISKCON, outside, can take part without any qualification other than the desire to do so. You know. So I just wanted to give a small little, it was a small incident, seemingly small incident, but it gave me the insight into the necessity of observing Guru Puja. It was in 1973, and Srila Prabhupada was at Bhaktivedanta Manor. He had just installed their lordships, Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda. There was the morning Guru Puja. Everybody's chanting, you know. And he looks around and he sees that two of the leading men are missing. And he stops the whole Guru Puja to find out where they are. So this was a big instruction to me and all of us present, that this is not an incidental ritual, it is actually integral, that we keep Srila Prabhupada's mercy flowing by honoring him each day through this Guru Puja ceremony. And likewise remembering our own spiritual masters. So His Holiness Srila Radhanath Maharaj has come to save you. Thank you very much.
ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I am very honored and I am very grateful to be with all of you this evening. Thank you for coming. Special gratitude to Hemangi Devi and Nityananda Pran Prabhu, or Subal Prabhu, for welcoming all of us here to Kishore Kishori Temple. During our event a couple hours ago, I made a promise I would speak on a particular subject. And we're not supposed to say anything not true, especially in the temple room. So I guess I have to speak on that subject. Special gratitude to Malati Devi. I remember in 1971, I was living as a wandering sadhu in India. And I just happened to come to this event. I was just walking without any direction, just walking and walking for miles and miles. And suddenly I saw this tent, and I was told there was a spiritual function there. So I went inside, and there was just a few people. And they told me, our guru's coming this evening. So I was thinking it would just be a few people and a great sage. But suddenly there was 25,000 people in that tent. And Srila Prabhupada came on stage with maybe a dozen devotees. And I was there. And the next day, I went for the next day again, there was a class that Srila Prabhupada gave in the morning, and they announced that there would be free prasad. And I don't think I had eaten in about a day. And being a wandering Madhukari, it's always a blessing when you could get food. So I was very eager to get some prasad, some spiritual food. And there was a line that you had to stand in. And the line, it seemed like many hours, but it was probably about 45 minutes to an hour to get to the front. And there was a big pot, and this person was giving halava. And it was smoking hot, so you could smell the fragrance and the smoke. And they were large leaf cups, like a whole ladle full that was brimming over the leaf cup. So it really looked nice, and it smelled incredible. And I was really hungry. And as you could smell it smoking in the whole tent, and as you get closer to the front of the line, the fragrance goes deeper and deeper into your heart and into your soul. And the anticipation and eagerness is increasing. And finally, I came right to the front, and my heart was dancing, my stomach was grumbling, and I was so eager to eat it. And they put the cup in my hand, and it was so warm. And just a second later, somebody grabbed it out of my hand and gave it to someone else. And that person said, "You weren't going to eat that, were you?" And I said, "Yes, I was." And then he said something strange. He said, "Come with me." But first I looked back, and the line was as long as when I first got in it. So I was thinking, I'm going to have to go back to the end of the line and wait for another hour. But he took me behind the stage to a private place and told me to sit on the ground. So I sat on the ground. I didn't know what was happening. And I was sitting next to two other people, Subal Maharaj and Shamsundar Prabhu. And I just kind of, did my pranams, and they said Hare Krishna. And I was wondering, what are we doing? And then my first meeting with Malati Devi, she came out from behind some curtain with a plate of prasad. It probably had 7 or 8 preparations on it, and it was really nice. And sadhus in India, you're not supposed to ever ask for more of something. You just accept it if it comes by Bhagavan's grace. So I finished that plate, and I was praying for Bhagavan's grace. Silently. And then from behind the curtain, Malati Devi came out and said, "Would you like more?" And I was silent, and she put more on my plate, and more and more. So she, like a mother to her wayward child, she fed me, and ever since then, she's been nourishing me with devotion, with bhakti, by her example, by her complete dedication to our Guru and to Krishna. Thank you, Malati Devi. And as far as prasad, Kamagiri Devi is like a deity of prasad. Her cooking is so mystical and supernatural and inconceivable. It really is. At least that's my experience. And I remember in Cleveland back in the 1970s, early 80s. How do you walk through? She would be down in this basement cooking with all these little babies and little children of hers running around, and she was being their mother. She was cooking, and she was making garlands. Very humble, but nothing could stop her devotion. She's like a universal mother. So I'm very grateful you are all here. Prem Vilas Prabhu, who is one of our great leaders from Columbus, Ohio, has come. So grateful that you are here. Yugo Kishore Prabhu from Detroit. The stories of this great Vaishnava saints are very important to hear and to try to emulate their example. We see in the great scriptures, Ramayana, it's the story of Ram. But the deep messages we gain from Ramayana are from the reciprocation of devotion that Ram has with his devotees. There's the story of Bharat, Jatayu, Shabri, Guha, Hanuman, Vibhishan. These are extraordinary personalities. And each and every one of them, time and again, were facing problems. Difficulties that were almost insurmountable to pass. Jatayu fought against Ravana. Bharata, he came home after just visiting one of his relatives, and in his name, Ram was banished to the forest for 14 years. His father was dead because of it. And he was offered the kingdom of the world, to be the king. Vibhishan, his own brother Ravana, was chastising him, threatening him, doing all the wrong things, and Vibhishan was trying to support him, trying to help him, trying to give him good sense, but Ravana would never listen. And ultimately, Ravana wanted to kill him. Vibhishan, he was always a well-wisher, but he always did the right thing. Hanuman, in his pursuit to reach Sita, his obstacles, he had to cross oceans, he had to fight battles against entire armies. He had to build a bridge across an ocean with floating rocks. So Ramayana is very much the story of the love of the devotees for Ram and the love of Ram for his devotees. When Ramchandra sent Hanuman to find Sita to give a message, Hanuman had to go through extraordinary difficulties. He was tied up, his tail was set on fire with the purpose of burning him alive. He was beaten, he was insulted, he had to cross oceans twice, and he came back to give Sita's message to Ram and a special jewel that she sent for him. And Ram cried. He said, "You have done everything for me. But I'm now living in the forest. I have nothing to give you in return. All I have to give you is myself." And Ram embraced him. This is bhakti. The supreme absolute truth, the cause of all causes, God, the supreme beautiful, the supreme merciful, the supreme powerful, the supreme lover and beloved, is Bhaktivatsal. Even if we offer a fruit, a flower, a little water with sincere devotion, Ram gives himself forever in return. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the story of the relationships. Prahlad, Ambarish, Dhruva. Practically each part of Srimad Bhagavatam is devotees, how they remain so filled with devotion, fearless of any situation in this world, because they have no other attachment than Sanatana Dharma, performing their eternal natural service of loving devotion to the Supreme, to Krishna. So in all, to Ram, to Narasingha, to Narayan, they're all names of the one Supreme God. Srila Prabhupada quoted, there's a Bengali saying, because in India they have joint families, where when a girl gets married, she traditionally lives with the family of her husband. Now that's quite a task. You're coming to live in another family. It's one thing to live in an apartment with your husband, but it's another thing to be with your husband and your father-in-law and your mother-in-law and your brother-in-laws and your brother-in-law's wives and your cousins, because that's the way India used to be. Sometimes it's still like that, especially in Bengal. So Srila Prabhupada said that when a young girl comes, she's nervous. She doesn't want to displease anyone, and she doesn't know how the family works. So if the mother corrects her, she might really feel like she's displeasing everyone. So a sensitivity, and this is the Bengali saying. Let me try to remember it. Swamis don't always remember these things. The mother teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughter. Does that make sense? Yes. Really? In other words, she tells the daughter how to do things better, and the daughter-in-law just gets to listen, but it's not about her, and that's the way she learns. So this example is cited that the Lord teaches the world by teaching his devotee. Because all of us, we don't really know how it works. We may theoretically understand certain things. But Krishna teaches Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita, to teach us. He teaches Uddhava, the Uddhava Gita, to teach us. And the examples of such great people like Hanuman and Vibhishan and Jatayu and the Gopas and the Gopis, they are there. They are living examples of how to deal with situations that are going to face all of us in one way or another. and grow. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. Radha Bhava Duti Subalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. He's Krishna who wants to understand the love of Sri Radha. So he comes, Krishna, with the love of Sri Radha in his heart and the complexion of Sri Radha, which is resplendent gold. And he's come in the role of a devotee to teach us by his example how to live in devotion in this world, how to live in selfless devotion in a world where there's so much exploitation, hypocrisy, egoism. Challenged at every step, from within our own mind, due to our conditionings, and by the environment and people around us. We need examples. And the story of Lord Chaitanya, how he taught us. Same principle. He taught us through the devotees around him and his relationships with them. In the next generation after Lord Chaitanya was Locan Das Thakur. His guru, Lokanath Goswami, whose disappearance day it is today. It was on this very day that he departed from this world to enter into the state of the divine realm of the Lord, the ultimate liberation. I'll speak something about him because I promised. And everyone else was taking vows. They're supposed to keep their promises, so I should also be like that. Lokanath Goswami was one of Lord Chaitanya's friends from their childhood, when Lord Chaitanya was Nimai, and he established the Sankirtan movement in Navadvip Dham. Lokanath Goswami was the son of Padmanabh Chakravarti and Sita Devi. He was born in the Jessore district of what we today call Bangladesh. But when he was young, his family moved to Navadvip, because Navadvip was the highest place in all of India for learning scriptures, for education. One of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, Dr. Sanyal, he said it was the Oxford of India. Because in those days, when he wrote that, India was under British control. So Oxford was considered the highest. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was having kirtans with the devotees all night, every night, and through the day, every day. After some years, Lokanath Goswami could sense in his heart that Lord Chaitanya was soon going to leave his home, leave Navadvip, to become a sannyasi, a swami. That was intolerable for him. How could Lokanath live seeing Lord Chaitanya without his beautiful hair, without his beautiful golden robes, to be with the shaved head, with the drab saffron garments of a renunciate, to leave his home, his blessed mother, to sleep on the ground with the only possession a simple begging pot. How could he tolerate seeing Sachimata, Lord Chaitanya's mother? She was a widow. All her daughters died at birth. Her elder son left home when he was a teenager to become a sannyasi. Lord Gauranga was all she had. How could he face seeing her broken heart? And the tears of all the devotees, it was just the thought of it was impossible. His heart was devastated. Lord Chaitanya took him aside and said, I do not want to show you this pastime of me taking sannyas. I am leaving home soon to renounce the world. You will not be able to bear it. You will not be able to bear the sufferings of my mother and the devotees. You should go to Vrindavan. And after I take sannyas, soon after, I will come to Vrindavan to be with you. You could make all the arrangements for me. That's your service. Now go to Vrindavan. He was given an instruction. It was so painful for him to leave his beloved Lord, his best friend. So he went and received the blessings of each and every devotee, touched their feet in respect and honor, and then by foot he walked to Vrindavan, along with his dear friend Bhugarbha Goswami. There's so many beautiful stories. He just wandered through the 12 forests of Vrindavan. He was waiting. It takes about a month to walk there. He went through the Jarikhanda forest. He was waiting for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come. He got news that Lord Chaitanya, in the month of Magh, about the time of Makara Sankranti, he left home, crossed Mother Ganga. He walked to Katwa and there took sannyas from Keshav Bharati Maharaj. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Keshav Bharati Maharaj, after he received his name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, his saffron cloth, he had a shaved head and he had his danda and this kamandalu, his water pot. He said, I'm going to Vrindavan, I'm going to Vrindavan. And he started chanting and dancing on the way to Vrindavan. And he told everyone else they should go back. He was going to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu understood what was happening to his mother and all the devotees in Navadvip. He left in the middle of the night without saying anything to them. So he somehow arranged to redirect Lord Chaitanya to go to Shantipur. And he called for Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees to come there to meet the Lord. Lord Chaitanya's mother, Sachi Devi, she said, please, do not go to Vrindavan. Because if you go there, I'll never see you. I'll never hear anything about you. It's so far away. The same Krishna that lives in Vrindavan is Jagannath in Puri. Go there. Because people from Navadvip are always going back and forth to Puri. I could send you prasad. I can hear your pastimes from people who are coming. Lord Chaitanya told his mother that whatever devotion I have received from you. By your love for me, by your love for Krishna, I have been nourished. I had no right to leave home. I had no right to take sannyas. I am your son. I owe you everything. I'll do whatever you say. So instead of going to Vrindavan, he went to Puri, which is the opposite direction. And then he decided to go to South India. And he traveled to South India for 2 years. When he left for South India, some message. In those days, there was no texting. This is 500 years ago. There was no emails. There was no Western Union telegrams. No telephones. If you wanted to get a message to someone, you'd write it down and give it to someone, and they had to walk there. India did not have Pony Express like they had for a while here. People would just walk. Communication was wonderful. Things went on much better than they're going on today. They really did. You didn't expect so much. You weren't stressed out. So somebody walked to Vrindavan, and Locan Das Goswami's there waiting for Lord Chaitanya, making every arrangement for his arrival. And he was told that Sachi Mata told him to live in Puri, and now he's traveling in South India. So Locan Das Goswami couldn't bear the separation. He walked. First, he walked to Puri because he was told that Lord Chaitanya went to Puri. And then they would say, no, he's not here, he's in South India. So he was walking way down south in India. And by the time he got there, months and months and months and years, he was told that Lord Chaitanya returned to Puri. He's already been here for 2 years. So then he walked all the way back to Puri. And when he got to Puri, just in the outskirts, he was told, Lord Chaitanya's gone to Vrindavan. I'm supposed to be there waiting for him. So he walked all the way to Vrindavan. And when he finally reached Vrindavan, 1,000 kilometers away, he was told Lord Chaitanya was here for 2 months, and he's already left. He just left for Prayag and Varanasi. Locan Das Goswami decided, tomorrow morning, I will leave for Varanasi and Prayag. But that night, Lord Chaitanya appeared to him in a divine vision. And he said, please stay in Vrindavan. You will be with me in your service. I will reciprocate with you through your service. In your chanting the holy names, in your reestablishing Vrindavan as a holy place of pilgrimage and finding the holy places there, in your relationships with the other Goswamis that will be coming, that's where I will be with you. So he stayed in Vrindavan. And physically, Locan Das Goswami never saw Lord Chaitanya again. He was with him through his seva. Vipralamba Bhav, service in separation. Vani and Vapu. Vapu means the physical presence of our gurus. And Vani means the instructions, the teachings that they give us. The purpose of vapu, the purpose of the physical presence of great saints, is to teach by their example and inspire us to follow the teachings. But the true presence is in those teachings, because they're beyond time and they're beyond space. We are experiencing this in our own beloved Guru, Srila Prabhupada. Malati Devi was one of those few devotees who for several years was right at his side, cooking for him with her little baby child in San Francisco, doing everything for him while he was there, in London, in India. But for about 98% of my Guru's disciples and followers, they only saw him every couple years, maybe a lecture or some lectures. He was with us till 1977. That makes it 40 years ago he left. He left the world 40 years ago. But so many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of his followers, they live with him more intimately even than when he was physically here, feeling him, experiencing his grace by hearing from him and trying to live by those instructions, trying to reciprocate with gratitude. You see, gratitude is beyond time. Gratitude is beyond geographical boundaries of any sort. If we're truly grateful, if we truly feel a debt of the heart, then we will follow what is our dharma by remaining faithful to do what our gurus wish us to do. We live forever with our gurus, and they live in our hearts when we're honestly and earnestly, sincerely trying to follow their instructions. Lokanath Goswami is such a person. He knew that Lord Chaitanya was living in Puri. And he already walked back and forth to Puri, and he walked all the way to South India. There was no problem for him to walk back to Puri to see Lord Chaitanya. He was ready and willing to do it. But Lord Chaitanya told him, stay in Vrindavan. You'll never physically see me again. Lord Chaitanya lived in Puri for about 24 years, and all that time, about 20 of those years, Lokanath Goswami was in Vrindavan, doing seva. Union in separation. One day, he was living in an area of Vrindavan called Umrao. And there was a little lake there called Kishori Kund. In his heart, he wanted so much to render personal service to Krishna, to Radha, to his Guru, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his life and soul. One day, he was just living, he had no house, he was living under trees. He was actually there before even Rupa Goswami or Sanatan Goswami. He was one of the very first people that Lord Chaitanya sent to Vrindavan. One day when he was feeling this great longing for service, this Brahmin just came out of the forest with a little, not exactly little, but with a bag, a cloth bag. And he gave the cloth bag to Locan Goswami. And then he left. Locan Goswami opened the bag, and it was a murti, a deity of Krishna, about this big. And he was wondering, what am I going to do? He's an ancient deity of Krishna. We don't know how, not ancient, timeless. He didn't have any temple, he didn't have any money, he didn't have any means, he was just living in the forest alone. So he was just sitting there in front of this deity, wondering, what am I going to do? I have to serve him. I don't have a temple, I don't have a house, I don't have any food, I don't have anything. And then the deity spoke to him. He said, my name is Radha Vinod, the beloved of Radha. And it was me, myself, that manifested in the form of that Brahman to give me to you. And Locan Goswami was just, he was so humbled, practically bewildered. And then Radha Vinod said, I am hungry, feed me. And then make a nice bed for me. I'm tired. So Locan Goswami went out and very enthusiastically started begging for anything he could get, and then he got some, you don't get very nice things when you beg. How many of you have ever begged in India? Please raise your hand. I guess you don't know what I mean then. Usually people don't give you anything. They say, go get a job, you beggar. But if people give you something, they usually give you the worst of what they have. Some old grains that are in the bottom of the barrel, or some chipped rice. But anyways, he was begging, and because he's a sadhu, some pious people were giving him some nice things too. And he went back and he cooked. Cooking in those days, you get some wood that's already fallen to the ground, dry wood, and you make a little fire, and you get a little pot. Somehow you beg for a clay pot, and you put some water from the kund or from the lake or the stream in it. Then you cook. And whatever he had, he made a nice little lunch, and he offered it to Radha Vinod. And then he made a nice little bed of leaves and flower petals, and he massaged his feet. And then he made a fan out of some leaves and was fanning him. And as far as the temple was that cloth bag that he came in. Wherever he went, he would just carry him around in the cloth bag around his neck. And wherever he would be under a tree, he'd cook for him, he'd clean for him, he'd chant for him, he'd dance for him. And in this way he was living. After some time, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they came to Vrindavan and they invited Locan Das Goswami, please come and live with us in the village of Vrindavan on the banks of the Yamuna River. So he brought Radha Vinod and lived quite close to where Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Radha Raman temple. And just in the area where Rupa Goswami, Radha Govinda, Sanatan Goswami, Madan Mohan, Bhugarba Goswami, he was living there. Gradually Jiva Goswami came, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Kashishwar Pandit. All these great personalities were starting to come. And in those days, Vrindavan was a forest. Locan Das Goswami, along with the others, they lived together, chanting together, dancing together, studying scriptures together, reciting the Lord's pastimes and teachings together, serving each other, taking prasad together. It was a community where there was no other motivation except in the full union of each other's hearts to give pleasure to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada gave us an example. When you give pleasure to Krishna, you experience the deepest, highest pleasure. Just like when you water the root of a tree, every part of the tree is nourished. If you water the leaves and the branches and the twigs, they get a little shiny. They're a little happy. But when you water the root, the happiness is so much deeper because it reaches everyone. And every flower on the tree, every leaf of the tree, in this sense, is conscious that when the root is satisfied, we're all satisfied. And if the root's not satisfied, none of us could be really not significantly satisfied. And that's the principle of bhakti. If each flower is just thinking, I need water, I'm going to take it from this other flower. You can take it from the other flower. You could get a little more water, and the other flower suffers. But how significant is that? That little water doesn't reach, can't reach your heart. The flower's heart can only be reached through putting water on the root. So when we please Krishna, our hearts are pleased. When we please Krishna, everyone's hearts are pleased. There's no more envy, there's no more competition. A similar analogy is the organs of our body. The lungs, the heart, the kidneys, the pancreas. The knees, the eyes, the brain. If any of them are fighting with each other, trying to get nourishment, then the whole body's diseased. What happens if the stomach, the stomach gets egoistic and arrogant and saying, I have all the food in me. Why should I give it to you? Kidneys, lungs, heart, brain. I have the food. Yes? What will happen to the stomach? The stomach gets some little bit of pleasure that I have it all, but how long is it going to last? Knowledge is to understand that by giving to everyone, everyone becomes actually healthy. Every part of the body knows that my happiness is in every other part of the body being happy. That's called compassion. So Srila Prabhupada explained, when you feed Krishna nice food with devotion, when you offer it, then you become completely happy. And you could eat anything and you'll be happy, because Krishna's happy with the nice food. If you dress Krishna nicely, you don't need nice dress. It's like my dear godbrother, Indra Prabhu. Do any of you know about Indra Prabhu? He was a wonderful kirtan singer. He was born and raised in the East Coast of America, but somehow or other when he met devotees, he just loved Krishna's names. And after some time, he made this incredible, it's like a little truck that he would drive and park it on the streets of New York City, and it was a temple inside of it. It would open up toward the sidewalk, and he would have beautiful little simple decorations, and he would sit and chant all day long. And a little later, he went to Vrindavan and reestablished his 24-hour kirtan. He chanted for hours and hours and hours a day, throughout the day, and he inspired others to do the same, and it's still going on today. But Indra was a sadhu. He was a brahmachari. He had nothing. He didn't have a family. He just dressed in simple saffron robes. Very, very simple. Nothing different any other day. There was no question of fashions. He just rinsed out his cloth and put it back on. But one of the features of Indra, besides his incredible singing talent and his devotion and his inspiration and his kirtan that spread throughout the world, although he never left Vrindavan, hardly. He would dress Radharani and Shamsundar. He would dress them so elegantly, so beautifully. It's absolutely incredible. No one could dress Krishna and Radharani like Indra Prabhu. He was the master. Such a pujari, so meticulous, everything super excellent and perfect. And he was happy. Krishna decorated with beautiful jewels and beautiful flowers and beautiful silks and wonderful garments and crowns. And he was so happy just to see Krishna dressed and dressing Krishna. He was just in his little saffron robes. He was totally happy. I can tell you with all certainty, because I knew him well, that people living on Fifth Avenue or Michigan Avenue or Beverly Hills, Hollywood. People may be dressed in finest garments. Sometimes we read about, you know, the first ladies or whatever, they have a garment that's so many, like tens and thousands of dollars or hundreds and thousands of dollars, and jewelry worth millions of dollars. But none of them could experience even the slightest little fraction of a trace of the happiness that Indra Prabhu felt when he'd see Krishna decorated nicely. Your enthusiastic clapping made me forget what I was going to say. Prabhupada said, when you clap, the birds of our sinful activities go away when we clap for Krishna. So the bird of my remembrance flew away. But it is an eternal truth that when we water the root of the tree, we find the greatest happiness. And not only that, we share that happiness with everyone. When Indra Prabhu dressed Radharani and Krishna very beautiful, with so much devotion, with whatever he had, whether there's a lot or a little, you just give your best. And all the devotees and all the pilgrims and everyone else that came to the temple, they all appreciated. It wasn't just for him. Because he was satisfying Radharani and Krishna, he was satisfying everyone that was coming. The hearts of the whole world were being touched just by that activity. Yes. If we go to a mirror and we're really hungry, and we have a banana, and we put it in our mouth, which is reflected in the mirror, are we nourished? Does that make sense, what I'm saying? If we get wonderful halava, hot halava, and we put it in our mouth in the mirror, there is some happiness to it, but it's not true happiness. If you decorate the mirror, it's not true happiness. Ladies, you put lipstick on your lips in the mirror, and eyebrow pencils, and there's some happiness there, but it doesn't reach the heart. It's external, superficial. Or if a mother wants to feed her baby and she puts it in front of the mirror and then puts baby food, it sounds ludicrous, but it's what everybody's doing. We're trying to find happiness by satisfying a reflection. Because this mind is a reflection of the soul. So Indra Prabhu, he was happy. He was in ecstasy. Because he was singing for Krishna. Never made a penny doing it. And if anybody gave him money, he would just give it to Krishna. He was cooking for Krishna. He was dressing Krishna. He was bathing Krishna. And he was happy with the simplest things. And people in this world, we're struggling to find happiness by having better and better cars and better technologies and better clothes and better jewelry, and trying to keep up with the fashions of this ever-changing world. And we get superficial external reflection of happiness is the best we can do. But even that's pretty rare. Because there's such a cost in doing it. But when we learn how to give our hearts, like Hanuman, his happiness was making Ram happy. Prahlad, his happiness was making Narasimhadev happy. Ambarish, his happiness was making Narayan happy. The gopis, the gopas, Nanda, Yashoda, Sri Radha, their happiness is making Krishna happy. So Lokanath Goswami and the other Goswamis, they live together. Because what does give Krishna happiness? It's not based on our own conception. He reveals it through the Holy Scriptures, and he reveals it through the great gurus in parampara, in disciplic line. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakta prayachati. Even the offering of a little fruit, a leaf, a flower, or water, when offered with devotion, the Lord is pleased. Not only pleased, but if it's offered truly with devotion, the Lord is conquered by that devotion. That is the word of Bhagavan himself. Shabri was a simple lady living in a cave. She had nothing. Ram came to visit her, and she wanted to give Ram something. But she's dressed in deer skins. She's been there for years. What does she have to offer? We all know that story. She went to get little berries. She offered Ram the berries to see if they were sweet or sour. She would taste them first. And if it was sour, she'd put it aside to eat it herself later. And if it was sweet, she'd take it out of her mouth and give it to Ram, and he would eat it, and he was happy. And he gave her the supreme perfection of liberation on that very day. Now, we can't imitate her. Please don't try. But she did it with love. The Lord is conquered by love. In this world, any good person is conquered by love. And that quality comes from Krishna, from Bhagavan himself. This is what the Goswamis taught us. Machchita madgata prana bodhyanta parasparam khatyantaschamam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells, my devotees, they seek shelter in me. They find shelter in me. And they derive the greatest happiness just enlightening one another by sharing their conversations about me. When we remind each other through our example, through our service, through our words, when we remind each other about Krishna, about the principle of true bhakti, that's where we truly will find Krishna. In giving, we receive. But if we don't have anything to give, what do we have? So our sadhana, our chanting the holy names, our hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, our devotional practices, our prayer, our puja, by doing these, we awaken that love within us. And then when we share it with other devotees and share it together with the world, then Krishna reciprocates and gives himself. That's devotional community. And our gratitude to our gurus, our teachers, is to live with that principle and to put that principle above and beyond all other concerns. Because there are limitless reasons to disagree, to fight, try to undermine or bring each other down. Doesn't take much to do that, because that's what everyone does, more or less. Greatness is when we rise above those tendencies. Greatness is when our relationships are built on this higher platform, above on all these dualities and disputes, to access and receive Krishna and to share Krishna. So beautiful. Yoga means harmony, unity. Harmony and unity of the body, the mind with the soul, the Atma. Harmony with the soul, the Atma, our bodies and minds with other living beings. Harmony with the environment around us. Because everything is Krishna's energy, Krishna's property. Everything inanimate is Krishna's property, to be respected and honored as such. And every living being is Krishna's child, to be honored and respected as such, essentially. To live in harmony with other living beings, to live in harmony with the environment, to live in harmony with God, with Krishna, with Bhagavan, within our own lives. That is yoga from the perspective of bhakti. Yoginam api sarvesham madgyatena antaratmana shradavan bhajateyo mam same yukta tamamataha. Krishna tells in Gita of all yoga, one who intimately abides in me with this love and faith is the highest of all. It's the ultimate fulfillment of the process of dharma, religion, or yoga, is to awaken this love, to live with this love. And to live with this love means to live in gratitude, to live in seva, or unselfish service, to live with compassion, to have the capacity to overcome petty selfish disputes, whether it's husband or wife or brothers and sisters or godbrothers and sisters or anyone else, nations, political parties, to rise above our disputes for the higher purpose. And the Bhakti Yoga directs us toward the highest purpose, watering the root of the tree. Paraduka duki. When we understand by making others happy, we become the most happy. And by seeing the suffering of others and feeling compassion for them, that's the way to transcend our own suffering. So the 6 Goswamis, and Locan Goswami was sometimes called the 7th Goswami. They lived together in this spirit. And ultimately, Locan Das Thakur, we spoke about him earlier. He was such a great saint. He was the disciple of Locan Goswami. He wrote hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of beautiful prayers and songs. And Srila Prabhupada explains that he wrote these songs in simple Bengali language so that the most common people could understand them. But the highest knowledge and realizations of all the Vedic literatures were fully revealed in each and every one of his simple poetic songs, because they were written with so much love, so much compassion. And some of those prayers we sing every single day in our temples. This temple, every morning we sing Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagma Sadma. That was written by Locan Das Thakur. And the song concludes where he's seeking shelter and offering his gratitude to Locan Goswami, his guru. Such treasured songs. 450 years later, we're still singing every single day, absorbing our hearts in the beautiful relationship between Locan Das Thakur and Locan Goswami. That's what Krishna has given us. That's what Srila Prabhupada traveled around the world 12 times to give us. And that's our real wealth that we can share with each other and with the world. Thank you very much. The harmonium. You clapped like I was putting you to sleep. Would you like to dance? As I'm chanting, please put your palms together in a prayerful mood. Hari Bol, Amy. And as you're chanting, please raise your arms very high. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone together. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everybody. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Loudly please, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everybody, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everybody, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanandi Hari. Everyone, please Raise your arms very high and let us chant like a child crying for mother. With great feeling, very loudly, together, with one voice, with one heart. Let us take shelter of the divine name. Everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With all the troubles, all the dangers, all the greed, envy, and violence in this world, Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarva Lokamaheshwaram Suhradam Sarva Bhutanam Shantim. Real Shanti, real peace comes when we awaken within our hearts and in the hearts of others the true nature of the soul. By chanting these beautiful names of the Supreme Beloved, Shri Radha Govinda, we can awaken that peace. Very loudly, 10,000 times louder, let us fill the universe with the holy names. Together, everyone, please. Hare Krishna, louder, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. One more time, please. 100 million times louder. With all our hearts, crying for Krishna's love, crying to bestow peace and compassion in the world. Everyone together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hari Hari. One more time. Praying, crying out for the supreme shelter, Kishore Kishori, to lift us out of our pettiness, to lift us out of our selfishness, to lift us out of all of these illusions, to make us a vessel of their supreme, unlimited, all-inclusive love and compassion. Everyone, please close your eyes in a mood of meditation. Let us chant together 100 billion times louder, please. Everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nithai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Jai Sri Rame. Vanshakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patithanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So there is prasadam waiting for you upstairs. So if you can, please enjoy Krishna prasadam. Thank you. Hare Krishna.